Hollywood loves labels, best friends, co-stars, like brothers. But sometimes the chemistry is too real, the glances last too long, and the world starts asking, are they just friends? Or something more? Tonight on Silent Fame, we're diving into 10 LGBT duos whose energy felt bigger than the script. As you watch, tell us, which pair do you believe were secretly in love? Drop your theories in the comments and subscribe to keep queer stories alive in your feed. 1. Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer. A summer that never ended. There are movie couples that live on screen, and there are movie couples that never really leave. Elio and Oliver, played by Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer in Call Me By Your Name, were never just characters. They were someone's first heartbreak, someone's first desire, and maybe someone's truth. But what made the world spiral wasn't just the film, it was what happened after. During the press tour, something strange lingered in the air. The way Timothée looked at Armie when he wasn't speaking, the laughter that didn't feel rehearsed, the stories about bonding in Italy, about trusting each other so deeply to make the intimacy work. At one point, fans noted that Armie's wife unfollowed Timmy on Instagram. Drama, jealousy, projection. And then there was the way Armie praised Timmy. He's so wise for his age. He was my anchor on set. This, from a man almost a decade older. The internet didn't just ship them, it believed them. Edits flooded TikTok, YouTube essays dissected their glances. For a while, they seemed inseparable. But when Armie's scandal hit, the distance became surgical. Timothée didn't speak out, didn't defend, didn't even acknowledge. Was it self-protection? Was it heartbreak? Some believe Timmy was simply being careful. Others say the chemistry was too real to be faked, that they fell into something while filming, maybe not love, but something dangerous to explain. So now we ask you, do you think their connection was real? Or was it just two brilliant actors playing the most convincing game of all? Drop your take in the comments. Would you have wanted them to be together if the world let them? 2. Jacob Elordi and Barry Keoghan, Seduction Secrets and Saltburn. In Saltburn, things got weird, intense, erotic. And then came that bathtub scene, the one that made half the internet pause and whisper, wait, is this real? Jacob Elordi and Barry Keoghan didn't just perform, they pushed each other. Their on-screen relationship was chaotic, uncomfortable, and undeniably electric. But what truly sparked conversation wasn't the movie, it was everything off-screen. During interviews, Barry would lean in a little too close. Jacob would smile like he was hiding something. The two shared inside jokes, unfinished sentences, and those eyes. Fans noticed it all, and when photos surfaced of them laughing together at events, the ship officially launched. People started asking, was their on-screen chemistry just acting? Or had they uncovered something messier, something Hollywood isn't ready to admit? What added fuel to the fire was Barry's own track record. He's played queer-coded roles before, often with a rawness that feels too lived in. And Jacob, he's famously private. Every gesture is calculated, but something about Barry seemed to unravel him. Watch their GQ photo shoot again. You'll see it. The way Jacob lingers in Barry's orbit. Like he's not just posing, he's reacting. But let's talk fan service. Did the media play into the rumors? Absolutely. Did the actors fuel it? Maybe. Is it fair to demand answers about someone's identity just because the chemistry felt too convincing? Let's hear from you. Was Saltburn just a performance, or the spark of something real? Should the public stop asking, or do you want them to confirm? Comment below. Would you support Jacob and Barry as a real-life couple? 3. Kit Connor and Joe Locke, the couple we needed but pushed too far. Heartstopper was supposed to be gentle. It was supposed to be a safe place for queer stories, for young love, for real representation. And at the heart of it were Kit Connor and Joe Locke, whose performances as Nick and Charlie weren't just adorable, they were healing. But as the fandom exploded, so did expectations. Fan edits, reaction videos, proof their dating threads. Social media turned their friendship into a pressure cooker. Some fans demanded that real life reflect the romance they saw on screen. And when Kit didn't label himself quickly enough, the internet turned cruel. Accusations of queerbaiting filled his feed until he finally tweeted, "I'm bi." Congrats for forcing an 18-year-old to out himself. It was heartbreaking. Not just because he was young, but because he wasn't given the freedom to be young. Joe Locke, more private, stood by him, quiet, supportive, never feeding the frenzy. The two were spotted holding hands off set, seen traveling together. But when asked directly, they always dodged. Because maybe that silence was the only way to keep what they had safe. Here's what's wild. Their chemistry off-screen feels even more authentic than their scripted scenes. The comfort, the laughter, the way Joe's hand finds Kit's arm when they're nervous in interviews. It's not acting, it's history, it's trust. So what is it? Just friendship? Or something they're not ready or allowed to name? You tell us. Did the fandom ruin something that could have bloomed? Should people be allowed to love quietly, even if they're famous? Drop a heart in the comments if you still believe in Nick and Charlie. Drop a thought if you think we, the audience, went too far. Us 4. Mile Phakphum Apo Nattawin, when chemistry becomes a threat. In KinnPorsche, their love was brutal and beautiful, fire and velvet. Mile and Apo didn't just portray two lovers trapped in a mafia fantasy. They cracked something open. Something fans across Asia and the world weren't ready for. Two men, loving without apology. Off-screen, it got messier. In real life, Apo's glances toward Milo were softer than any camera could capture. Milo's protective gestures, hands hovering just close enough, were too intimate for just colleagues. Every fan meeting, every unscripted smile became another piece of the puzzle. And fans didn't just watch, they obsessed. Conspiracy threads bloomed. Is Apo wearing Miles' bracelet? Why do they spend holidays together? Did they just look at each other like that? But behind the fan service, there were cracks. Industry insiders whispered about pressure from management, that their closeness was too risky for certain sponsors, that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't just acting, but neither of them was allowed to admit it. Then came the silence, a canceled interview, a pulled fan event, and the two began to shift. Still close, but with a layer of calculation. Smiles choreographed, distance calibrated. So we ask you now, did we, the audience, turn a real connection into a performance? Was Mile Apo real and destroyed by the need to keep it secret? If you've ever felt their chemistry hit deeper than fiction, let us know. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want stories like theirs to stay alive, subscribe and stay close. We're not done yet. 5. Troye Sivan and Ross Lynch, the music video that said too much. When Troye Sivan released One of Your Girls, the internet gasped. Blonde wig, pleaser heels, a pop star bending gender and desire in one shimmering breath. But the moment Ross Lynch entered the frame, shirtless, vulnerable, and hungry, something changed. That wasn't just a feature. That was a confession. The way Troye touched Ross, tentative, worshipful, the way Ross responded, lost in it, eyes closed like he was remembering something. This wasn't about views. This was electricity, and it felt like it wasn't the first time. But here's where it gets interesting. Ross Lynch, former Disney star, has long walked the line of ambiguity. Stylish, open-minded, flirtatious on camera, but always just out of reach. He's been the subject of speculation for years, yet in this video, he didn't just play along, he surrendered to it. The behind-the-scenes footage only fueled the fire. Troye giggling, Ross watching playback a little too intently. "We really trusted each other," Troye said. Fans started asking, was this just art or a glimpse into something the industry won't let them say? Of course, nothing was confirmed. Just tweets, glances, the same silence we've come to expect. But let's be honest. Does a straight man volunteer to be part of that video, filmed that way, without something personal guiding him? So now it's your turn. Was one of your girls just another music video? Or did Troye and Ross show us something real and walk away before it caught fire? Leave your theory below. And if you want to keep seeing stories that blur the line between love and performance, don't forget to subscribe. We're not afraid to ask the quiet questions out loud. 6. Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac, the romance that became a meme but never a joke? There's playful friendship, and then there's whatever Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac have. From Comic-Con panels to viral interviews, their dynamic has always been chaotic, tender, and way too flirty for just bros. Pedro calling Oscar "my sweet girl." Oscar leaning in mid-interview to whisper, "You smell nice." The energy? Unfiltered, unapologetic, and undeniably queer-coded. Fans call them husbands of Hollywood. And honestly, it fits. They met during a failed pilot, bonded over Shakespeare and bad coffee. Then came Star Wars and a shared rise to internet sainthood. But what really stoked the fire? The 2019 red carpet moment. Oscar grabs Pedro's face and kisses him. Not on the cheek, not for press. Just because. After that, the internet exploded. Are they dating? Are they trolling? Do they even care? Pedro never denied it. He smiled through every headline. Oscar, the more guarded of the two, once said, "We're both deeply affectionate men. Maybe people aren't used to seeing that." But the truth is more complicated. Two Latino men in Hollywood showing affection this openly? That's still radical. That's still risky. And while fans laughed and shipped and memed, it's possible no one stopped to ask, what did it cost them? Because now, the jokes have quieted. The appearances are rarer. The hugs, less lingering. So we ask you this, was Pedro and Oscar's closeness just two friends being free? Or did the world's gaze turn something beautiful into something burdened? Tell us what you believe. Should they have just said, screw it, and gone public if there was anything to reveal? Drop your answer below. And if you want to keep unwrapping stories like theirs, subscribe. We're here for the messy, the magical, and the maybe real. 7. Zendaya and Hunter Schafer, sisters, soulmates, or something the world doesn't have a word for. When Euphoria dropped, it didn't just make noise, it cracked something open. It wasn't just about teens and trauma, it was about feeling everything too much. And in the middle of that emotional chaos were Rue and Jules, played by Zendaya and Hunter Schafer, with a connection so delicate, so chaotic, and so devastatingly intimate that it didn't feel scripted. It felt like watching two hearts try to learn a language no one ever taught them. And then we saw them off screen. Zendaya, already a global star, looked at Hunter the way you look at someone who saved you, even if just a little. Hunter, with her soft voice and sharp mind, never treated Zendaya like a co-star. She looked at her like a co-conspirator. The interviews, the hand-holding, the Instagram tributes, fans started asking, were they just friends? Were they lovers? Were they something more sacred? The internet spiraled. Photos of them vacationing alone, long hugs that didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. Speculation grew, and for once, both women stayed completely silent. No denial, no confirmation, just presence. And that silence spoke louder than anything else. Maybe they were never a couple, or maybe they were everything but a couple. Maybe we just don't have the vocabulary yet for what they are to each other. But if you've ever had that one person who saw you entirely and didn't flinch, you might understand. So now we pass it to you. Do you believe Zendaya and Hunter ever crossed that invisible line from soul-deep friendship to something more? Would you want them to? Tell us in the comments. And if this kind of story speaks to something in you, stay with us. Subscribe, because some love doesn't need a label to be worth celebrating. 8. Ben Platt and Noah Galvin, from whispers to wedding bells. Most rumored couples vanish into silence. But every now and then, the rumor becomes reality, and it's more beautiful than anyone imagined. Ben Platt and Noah Galvin didn't fall in love under the spotlight. They found each other behind the curtain, under stage lights, somewhere between grief and high notes. They were both Evan Hansen at different times in Dear Evan Hansen. Two queer men playing the loneliest teenager in the world. Two voices carrying the same story. Maybe that was the beginning. For years, they were just close, best friends, roommates, co-creators, and then, without fanfare, Noah casually mentioned in a podcast that they were dating. No PR stunt, no dramatic reveal. Just truth slipping out like a sigh. And suddenly, every moment that had felt a little too soft, every red carpet pose that lingered too long made perfect sense. They didn't owe us anything, but they gave us everything. A real queer love story in an industry that still whispers, "Don't say too much." Ben once said, "We fell in love during a really hard year. He made me feel safe in the middle of chaos." And now, they're engaged, planning a future, not hiding, not apologizing. Their journey isn't drama. It's something better, proof that sometimes the rumor is real, that queer love can bloom quietly, survive the pressure, and still be tender at the end of it all. So let us ask you, did you see it coming? Did you believe they were more than friends from the start? And if the story made you smile, if it gave you hope, then please subscribe, because love like theirs deserves to be seen, and so do you. 9. Darren, Chris, and Chris Colfer, when fiction was too real for reality. In the world of Glee, Kurt and Blaine weren't just a couple, they were the couple. For so many queer teens watching, they weren't characters, they were lifelines. And behind the scenes, Chris Colfer and Darren Chris became inseparable. The glances, the inside jokes, the onstage chemistry that always felt like it was bleeding off the script and into something real. But Darren Chris was straight, or at least that's what he said. Over and over again. And maybe he was, but that didn't stop people from wondering, from hoping, from believing. Because the way he looked at Chris, especially in the early seasons, wasn't just acting, it was intimate, protective, charged. And Chris? He never said much. He just smiled, observed, held Darren's hand a little longer during events, like he knew a secret and chose not to tell it. Even years later, when Darren got married and Glee faded into nostalgia, fans still return to those moments. They still analyze their interactions. Still ask, was there ever something there? Maybe it was just two actors who became close while portraying love. Or maybe it was the kind of closeness that scared both of them. Maybe Darren wasn't queer, but maybe the love between them was still real. And that's what makes this pairing legendary. Not because it confirmed anything, but because it refused to. And in that refusal, it stayed alive in all of us. Now we want to hear from you. Did Klain ever spill into reality? Did Darren and Chris blur the line between performance and possibility? Leave your thoughts, share your memories, and if stories like this matter to you, stories where not everything is said, but everything is felt, hit subscribe. Because sometimes silence is where the truth hides best. 10. Janelle and Tessa Thompson, the love that lived between the lines. There was never an official announcement. No kiss on a red carpet. No social media post that confirmed what millions quietly believed. But for years, Janelle and Tessa Thompson existed beside each other in a way that felt undeniably intimate. Like two souls orbiting the same truth, even if they never dared to name it. Their connection began with art, with Dirty Computer, where Janelle cast Tessa not just as a co-star, but as something more. A muse, a mirror, a partner. Their bodies moved in, perfect rhythm, their glances loaded with the kind of heat and history that no director could fabricate. Fans didn't just speculate, they believed. And perhaps more importantly, they hoped. Tessa once said in an interview, "We love each other deeply. We vibrate at the same frequency." It wasn't a confirmation, but it wasn't a denial either. It was something softer, more sacred, an answer that only made the questions grow louder. Every appearance together, every matching outfit, every lingering moment captured on camera felt like a quiet rebellion against a world that still demands labels, clarity, and confession. But love doesn't always arrive in a form we can package. Sometimes it just is, unlabeled, unspoken, but no less real. Over time, their public closeness faded. Separate projects, separate paths, and the humming undercurrent of something unfinished left fans wondering, were they ever truly together? Or were they simply two queer Black women trying to protect something the world wasn't ready to respect? Whatever it was, it mattered. To us, to those who saw themselves reflected in their bond, to anyone who's ever loved without being able to say it out loud. So we ask you now, do you believe they were in love? Do you wish the world had given them more space to just be? If this story touched you, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're still holding space for quiet love stories like this one, hit subscribe. Because some truths live between the lines, and they deserve to be seen. Some of these duos confirmed nothing. Some quietly proved everything. But whether they were friends, almost lovers, or something we don't have a word for yet, their chemistry gave queer viewers hope, comfort, and a little bit of chaos to obsess over. Now it's your turn. Who felt the most real to you? Who do you still secretly ship? Tell us in the comments. Hit like and subscribe to Silent Fame so these stories and this community never fade from the spotlight.